Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Spiritual Leader. I am your host, Darren Baldwin, and I am joined here by my lovely and talented and beautiful wife, Laura.
There you go.
There you go. And we're so glad to be here with you. I want to remind you, to make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast, because we're not doing this just because, it's another thing to do for us. We genuinely want to connect with you. We want to move forward together with you in this journey of spiritual development and spiritual leadership. There's so much that I believe that God has for each and every one of us, especially in these last days. There's so much work to do for the kingdom. There's so many lives to touch, and just so many opportunities in the days where darkness is increasing in the earth. There's so many more opportunities for the light to shine bright.
Yeah.
So we're excited to be with you. We left off last week, Laura, talking about really what is spirit, what is, the world's attempt, really miserable attempt to take a stab at spirituality from the highest echelons of culture and society. I've seen some of these folks, they get out there and they know there's something there.
Yeah.
They know there's a spiritual realm. They know there's something other than just an intellectual realm and a physical. And probably people of all generations have sensed that there's something more than what we can just see. And you can see that through art and culture throughout the ages. But I think the way that the world's representing the realm of spirit and spiritual things it's just, they got nothing. They got nothing. They got attempt after attempt, and it's unbelievable. It's crazy. We're going to talk about intellectualism today versus spirit. And I said in the close of the last podcast that, God taught me a lesson when I was a brand new Christian. I was trying to hear God in my mind, and the Holy Spirit really ministered to my spirit and said, I'm not up here.
Yeah.
He's not up here. God's not a mind.
Yeah.
God is, and we looked at some scriptures, Proverbs 20:27 and John 4:24, I think. That's basically say God is a spirit, and then we saw in Genesis 1:26 and 27.
Formed in His likeness.
This is powerful.
Spirit.
We are, Laura, God made us.
Yeah.
He created everything else. When He made man, He actually took Himself and imparted Himself into man. That's how much like God we are.
Yeah.
We are spirit, baby. You and I, we got spirit. We are a spirit being. One of the best ways I've ever heard this put, Laura, was where it was said, I am a spirit. Let's say that together. I am a spirit.
I am a spirit.
We have a soul.
Yeah, we have a soul.
Which our soul is made up of our
intellect.
Our mind, our intellect, our emotions. That'll set you free right there, right? Thinking about, I'm not my emotions, right? Well, okay, I am a spirit. I have a soul.
Yeah.
This is huge. I have a soul.
Yeah.
Number 3, I live in a body.
Yeah.
So let's break this down for a minute. Let's look at it in the world's perspective. How much of our time growing up, from the time that we're born to the time we become adults, how much of that time is spent in school?
Yeah.
Probably the largest majority of our time as young people growing up, from preschool on through, if you further your education and in college or whatever professional training or career training, 95% or more of that, or 100% of that is what? It's developing your intellect. Your one minister said it this way, talking about the body. He said we feed our body 3 hot meals a day and we give our spirit 1 cold snack a week. Talking about if by chance you're in some kind of a church service where you're getting some kind of spiritual nourishment. But think about the educational process. It's designed around the intellect. Yeah. And I don't think this is by accident. I really don't think this is by accident. I think that we got to realize we live in a fallen world. Satan is the god of this world, not to get all hocus pocus on you. If you don't believe in Satan and the whole darkness of the spiritual realm, you're lost before you even started the war, the race. You're cooked. But think about the realm that Satan has created. Of course he wants man to focus on their intellect. Of course he would never want man to focus on their spirit. Because the second that we begin to focus on our spirit, we begin to realize that we are created in the image of God. We're not, if we only live from our intellect, the Lord gave me this thing in my heart years ago when I was in prayer, and he said, gave me this spiritual vision, Laura, and I've shared this before, you heard it, where it said that I saw this, basically this little old junky travel trailer, right? It's this little old metal travel trailer, a pull-behind trailer that you'd pull behind your vehicle, if you're going camping with your family, little tiny little thing, not as big as this little, set that we're sitting at right now. And it was ragged, it was metal, it was rusty, we tried to make it look good, but it was what it was, small, and, it had a certain purpose. But then all of a sudden, the Lord in this vision backed me up from that little travel trailer, and the camera zoom went back, and I saw this expansive, lush, green estate with flowing, rivers and beautiful landscaping and this beautiful mansion of a home. And I began to look at that, and the Lord ministered to me and said, Darren, that little travel trailer is what it looks like when you try to live from your intellect alone. Powerful. And then he said the expansiveness of this lush green estate, that's what it looks like when you try to live from your spirit. Good. And let me tell you, when we try to live from our spirit, that's what our lives, I believe, will look like. They'll be lush and fruitful and green and prosperous and healthy in every manner. But when we only live from our intellect, we limit our lives. And think about the world. Think about how limited we are in what we can do. I mean, and I'm not knocking this, I'm just saying as a fact, how many more billions and trillions of dollars need to be spent on researching cancer cures, on different disease cures? I think those answers are found in the Spirit. It's just so powerful. I was thinking about, where's the scripture? Proverbs 3:5-6, it says, this used to be one of your favorite verses.
Yeah, this author college, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not into your own understanding. You're very limited if you've only got your own understanding to pull from. That's it. But lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways.
In all your ways, acknowledge Him.
He'll direct your path.
He directs our path.
He'll lead us. He'll guide us to good success. But that's in the Spirit.
It is in the Spirit. And think about it. He said, lean not. Like if I'm leaning towards you, I'm getting away from my microphone. Maybe I'll come over here to your microphone. I'm leaning towards Laura. If Laura was my understanding, I'm leaning towards her. I'm leaning away from the Spirit.
Yeah.
I'm leaning away from, he says, acknowledge me in all your ways, and he'll direct my path. How's he going to do that? Because he's a spirit. Yeah. I'm a spirit.
I think that's why so many Christians live a very frustrated existence, is because they're only pulling and drawing from their own intellect. And if you only have your intellect, your knowledge, and what you're capable of coming up with, then you are going to be incredibly limited. And I just think that's where so much frustration in the body of the Christ is because whether they realize they're a spirit or not, maybe they know that they're a spirit, but they're not giving time to developing their spirit. And that's the key, developing their spirit. Yeah. You mentioned, and I'm going to give another quote that minister also said. He said, we educate our minds at the expense of our spirits.
So powerful.
And that's so true. You talked about we go to preschool, elementary school, and high school, and junior college, and then a university, and then some of us going to a master's degree, and a doctorate, and all these different things. And all the while we're educating our mind. But if we're not putting that much emphasis and that much stock into our spirit will remain the same. Our intellect's growing, but our spirit has yet to grow. And if we're going to walk by the Spirit, if we're going to live by the Spirit, then we've got to develop our spirit.
Yeah, it's so true and so powerful. I love what I've heard said before, that you can't fight spiritual battles with mental ability.
That's frustration.
It is frustration because you're not going to get any results.
You'll get worn
out. It's like Darren Baldwin going in the ring with like a Mike Tyson or whoever some modern boxer is, or UFC fighter or whatever's popular now.
You'll quit.
I will get my brains beat in. If I go in the ring right now with some professional fighter, I will be destroyed within probably seconds. I will run out of the ring. Yeah. I can't compete with that.
I think that's a clear-cut sign too. If you're just getting beat over the head over and over and over, you better realize, like, I got to develop my spirit here.
That's so powerful.
It's a telltale sign.
So if you think about this, intellectualism is not where it's at. Now, thank God for natural intellect.
Yeah.
I'm grateful
Good
for the
common
ability to
sense.
think. I'm grateful to think that I'm not going to go out and walk out into the street.
Yeah.
People that are, if you're strung out on some kind of a drug or something, your mind is not sound, you're likely to do something that's totally off the wall. So thank God for a sound mind.
Yeah.
Thank God for the ability to think and to process and to reason. But those things, when man fell in the garden, they went from a spiritual existence to an intellectual, body-ruled existence.
Yeah.
That was never God's original intention for man.
That's it.
We were created in his image, and we were made to live a spiritual existence.
We're living on a lower plane when we live
it's
only
obvious.
from our intellect.
It's so obvious.
There's a higher place to live from.
And it is what? It's the Spirit.
It is.
It's the Spirit. Well, I hope you got something out of that today. These are little power, shots in the arm, a little spiritual development. We're going to jump into, on the next podcast, we're going to be talking about the purpose of the body. So we're looking at spirit and then soul and then body. Hey, this is Laura and I. We're glad you joined us today on The Spiritual Leader. We'll talk to you real soon.
Next Monday.
Bye.